What's poppin', y'all? A lot of people are trying to come at Drake for this more recent move that he's done with streamers, and I am not one of those people. I actually think it's a brilliant move, and I don't think it's something that only Drake does. I think it's something that Ye does, and really any rapper that stays relevant for multiple generations must do. So this all started with a clip with Drake addressing Aiden Ross and telling him to get a private jet for a wireless event. So I'm going to play you guys that clip first.
Yo. Yes, Iceman.
Should we get a streamer plane to wireless for everybody?
Yes. We out.
Should I get a big jet?
Drake.
Wait, should I come to wireless?
Eu amo Drake,
I should
bro.
get what do you mean, what?
Oh, what up, Chubbs?
He said, what the fuck?
Yo,
out,
I should get a
That's what he
streamer
really called
plane
it.
to wireless.
Yeah, streamer playing to wireless. We stream on everything, yes.
So then
That's
just
dope.
Tell me the flight manifest. I'm gonna get the jet.
What's the flight manifest looking like, Ben?
So here, Wireless is a huge festival in the UK. I don't know if it's in London, but I know it's in the UK. I think they started branching out because I believe they were doing some project in the Middle East. I don't know if it was the UAE or not, because I believe Playboi Carti was supposed to perform at Wireless over there, and then he was supposed to go and perform at Rolling Loud, Thailand. Both performances which he canceled last minute, and they were trying to say it was like a jet or a flight issue, and Yeet filled in. So not for Wireless, but shout out to Yeet for that. Really just stand up, handling business, and also satisfying the fans when somebody else screwed them over. And I think it was it Gunna as well that had showed up? Anybody that's really professional like that, I appreciate. Wiz Khalifa and Lil Wayne are good examples of that too. But circling back to Drake has built up a relationship with Aiden Ross for quite a while now. A lot of that has to do with their joint business partner, Stake. So Stake is the biggest gambling online casino, crypto casino in the world. These guys are worth, I don't even know how to begin to describe it. Let's just say like 50 billion a year. I don't even know. It's tens of billions of dollars. And they sponsored Aiden because back in the day, and by back in the day, I mean early Aiden, like 2020, 2021, Aiden was in and all of this context matters. Aiden Ross was in a house with FaZe Banks, this other guy, Rice Gum, and Mike Majlak. And they were sponsored to do, they started to get gambling sponsors. At this time, you guys probably remember, Aiden was the hottest thing smoking. And he was getting views that we had not seen any streamers get, especially that came out of the 2K community. And I followed every community on Twitch that had significant viewership prior to Aiden, since maybe 2014, 15, I would say 2016 for sure. But none of them were touching Aiden's numbers. Not even close, maybe half at that. And he got these gambling sponsors. That's when these online casinos started to sponsor them. So what they did, and it was with Rice Gum, they took this sponsor from this company called Rubed. And he was saying that they were offering him like $2 million a month or something, and they would have to go to Mexico to gamble because it was illegal to do so in the U.S. Fast forward, he gets a long-term deal with Stake, and that's how he gets filthy rich. Like, a lot of people think, like, yo, streamers are making money. Yeah, it depends, right? Like, the richest streamers that you see and the richest podcasters that you see, it is through gambling. Whether it's DraftKings, whether it's Prize Picks, who pay significantly less than a online casino that's not allowed to advertise in the way that DraftKings and Prize Picks are. Those still pay significantly more than any other sponsor that you could possibly get or product that you could sell. So Aiden got rich off of that. And then they sponsored Drake. They got Drake to do a deal with them. And in the beginning, it was just having their @ and his profile. He started to collaborate more, and Drake got acquainted with Aiden Ross like that. That's why Drake did streams with XQC. But the reason why I think Drake dove more into streaming is he realized that the culture, and by the culture I mean youth culture, which is always what is signifying what's next. There has never been an era of music that has blown up because the 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds were jumping on it. Now, that's not to say that 30 and 40-year-olds couldn't be the ones that were making the music that blew up. That's a possibility, and that probably did happen in the past. I just can't recall it off the top of my head. I'm not a music historian. But it always had to be the youth to push it forward. Same thing with political movements. Like most political movements will start maybe in college campuses and then will grow, and then they get adopted by the older people. Older people are just more, number one, I would say that older people, and by older, I mean 25 plus, really, they're more listening to a catalog of music that they've already been tapped into. And they're less likely to just listen to stuff that their parents listen to because they want to develop their own identity. Like, for example, maybe a lot of our parents played Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, any Prince, any number of other artists. It's not to say that we don't like those artists, but we probably love those artists. But we decide to go like, yo, what's happening in our generation? What's going on with us? And whatever's popping is what we're going to lean towards. And that's what Drake does. And that's what Ye does. And that's what Jay-Z doesn't do. That's why you see Drake and Ye have a chokehold on the younger generation that Jay doesn't have. That many rappers of that generation that were huge don't have. Diddy doesn't have that. Not musically, at least. Maybe culturally, Khaled did have that. And DJ Khaled, how did he get that? Kind of like by being one of the OG music influencers by getting on Snapchat. But Snapchat was a platform that was mostly young people at the time when he got on there. So this whole new generation of people found out about Khaled. Maybe some of them listened to his music. It's hard to avoid his music when they're doing a full rollout and when Drake is giving you hits like Grease and Pop Star, just chef's kiss amazing songs. So for Drake, the way that he's done it is by adopting streamers. So he's in these streamers' chats. He's chopping it up with them. He's kicking it with them. And it's not just to gain favorability. Like some people will say, oh, he just wants them to talk about him favorably. That's not the full story. Yes, I do think he would appreciate them talking about him favorably, but he also wants them to just talk about him and make him a mainstay in their listening, as well as their, you could call it like rotation. Because he's a hit maker. He has all of these hit songs, and he's their homie, quote unquote. So they're going to check out his music. And Drake does that a little bit on the other side because he's already got mainstream coverage. He's already got the biggest platforms that are going to cover him regardless in hip hop, the older people. So he has to keep tapping in with the new younger crowd. And he did this back in the day too, when he hopped on, I know it sounds like 2018. I think that's when it happened, when he hopped on Fortnite with Ninja. I don't think he was thinking about it at this time. He just thought that this was going to be one of the biggest moments ever. And it was one of the biggest moments ever in history of life, of the internet, of gaming. Like gaming and music really just came to a head. These two things that were really inextricably linked, but kept distance from each other for such a long time. Like a lot of artists, like for example, like Logic, but received a lot of support from gaming groups like FaZe that assisted them in their blow up throughout the internet. I would say similarly to, who's another artist? Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD is another example, but Juice WRLD is somebody that really adopted gaming fully, and he was one of them. Now, how does Ye do this? Because everyone's going to be like, nah, you're just caping for Drake. Well, the way that Ye does this is he's always got a young dude on his team, and he's always working with younger artists, which is also something that Drake does. If you guys remember, back when Kodak Black was first blowing up, like when he had Skirt and he had, the song that, there was Skirt, there was Skrilla. I think it was Skirt the song that Cardi B took to make Bodak Yellow? Whichever song Cardi B took, that was the song that was like, it was kind of blowing up, but it wasn't completely viral. And Kodak was 15, 16 at the time. Drake was shouting out Kodak Black or giving him looks on IG. And this is post, if you're reading this, it's too late Drake. This is views Drake. This guy's at the top of the top with One Dance doing everything. And he's still showing love to these younger artists, tapping in with them. Ye, he always does this. Like Yeezy season 3, he had Ian, was it season 2? I keep forgetting the seasons. But he had Ian Connor with him. Ian Connor is somebody that always has a young buck by his side. So Ian Connor is significantly younger than, and Ian Connor was an early ASAP affiliate. He used to be cool with all of them for quite a while, and now he has issues with ASAP Rocky. We don't really know why. Apparently it's about some like money betrayal things. But Ye kept him around. He's significantly younger, and he's the bridge that allowed Ye to tap into people like Lil Yachty and all the people that he had at that fashion show. And he does the same thing with newer artists, but he kind of needs this liaison to where it's like, hey, you're the guy that's younger than me, but you're a little bit older or more tapped in. You've seen both generations, so you understand me. You understand these younger guys, and you can be the bridge to filter out the trash too, because you need somebody that's not going to just give you garbage. And that's what Ian Connor is still doing now. Like, this guy's still tapping into a new underground artist right now in the Atlanta region, and he is using his own liaisons where like maybe certain pages where he's like, okay, this person's really plugged in. Let me tap in with them, see what they've got going on, and I can trust their taste so they can filter a lot, because a lot of this is just filtering. You need to know who you should or should not link up with, and that's what Drake does with Aiden Ross. So Aiden Ross is his filter. He's like, yo, who's popping it like that, and bring them out to wireless. And this is, most of these streamers, it will probably be their first experience on a private jet. It's going to a Drake show. They're showing out with them. You think they're going to forget something like that and talk bad about Drake? And no other rapper is doing that. So now it's favorable towards Drake, a whole new generation, because it's not just the streamers. Because the streamers, they're like 18 plus, most of them. These guys watching the streamers are 10 to 18. And they're looking at, not exactly 10 to 18, maybe 10 to 24 or something like that, the bulk of the audience. But they're looking at it like, yo, my favorite streamer, like he linked with Drake. I know who Drake is. That's like Michael Jackson. I'm not making that direct comparison, but to the kid, they're like, yo, I always hear that guy's songs, and he showed love to my favorite streamer. I'm going to listen to him. And Drake has music for every age. So do you see how like this is actually a smart move? It's a cool move, and it's keeping up with the times, unless you just want the guy to continue to just rap for, like, grow up. And this is also another thing. Ye as well as Drake rap with bars and music that can appeal to that young crowd as well. That's another thing. If you're older and your music is maturing as you age, let's say a Jay-Z, you trying to tap into this audience is, I wouldn't say worthless, but you're not going to benefit from it because there's really not product market fit there. You're rapping about like art and buying homes and kids and things like that. And sure, some people are touching on this like Ye and Drake, but that's not the bulk of what they're talking about. And what Jay's talking about, like on 444 and things like that, that's not really resonating with the young bucks. So it would just be a waste anyway. So that's why it takes a particular type of artist that can do this. And I think it's a brilliant strategy. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.